What you're really looking for is to identify common interests or experiences. So, superficial level, same sports team, you grew up in the same area, the same state. Americans are obsessed with finding they have a mother in the same state or something, same university, same mastermind, same industry people, whatever, some common ground. And then about the business, you need to know a bit about the business. And if it comes up during the conversation, be able to demonstrate that you've done a bit of homework. Remember, the business is the owner's baby, is there being there, the thing they spent more time in their business than they have with their family, most likely, or their friends. So be respectful of that. You also want to make sure you understand the industry. Do some basic research on the subcategories. So if you're used to selling on Amazon, but you've been selling, I don't know, like I used to sell music stands and music lights and other accessories for musicians, and maybe now you're in the pet space, do some homework. I've had a client in the pet space, so I'm more familiar than most people would be, but do some homework. What are the big drivers of that market? Who are the big competitors? Do your homework on Helium 10, Jungle Scout? You get the idea, whatever your tool of choice is. Okay, so that's the preparation. Before you head for the meeting, three basics, really simple but important. Dress appropriately. Casual dress might be just as important as not overdressing, but I would err on the side of a little bit formal just to set a tone of the meeting. Rule of thumb, the older the seller of the business, the more likely you should dress a little bit more formally, right? And what counts as formal is a variable feast, a movable feast. So don't overthink it, but think about it. Be punctual. Really important. It's basic. Check trains and motorways. Do not trust trains if there's going to be cancellations, like I get on the line into London here, catch the previous train. Do not trust motorways. Leave extra time. If you're going to meet on Zoom, I much prefer in person. By the way, side note, in person is so much more powerful. But, given the international nature of e-commerce, you may well end up on Zoom. Fine. But clear a bit of schedule beforehand. So if you've got meetings, they're going to overrun. If you need time for lunch, you need time to get a loo break, a toilet break, or a comfort break, etc. And then in terms of timing, my personal preference is, especially if you're meeting in person, is to block off an extra bit of time. If you think you're going to meet for an hour and a half, block off an extra hour in case it's going really well and you're getting great rapport and you need a bit more time to explore things, and the seller is also willing to have the time, I would block out a bit of extra time. The time when I wouldn't do that is if you've got a load of deal flow and you've got a lot of people to see, in which case that's also powerful because you can gently hint that by simply saying something like, Mr. Seller, thank you so much for your time. I've got a few follow-up questions, but I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to get going because I've got another meeting in 15 minutes on Zoom, or I've got to head across town to meet another person to discuss their business, that kind of thing, right? So either which way can work. If you don't have many leads, I would allow an extra bit of time. If you have a lot of leads, then you're going to have to run to strict time, but try and give yourself leeway. But by the same token, be respectful of the seller's time. So I would say something like, have you got a hard stop? And if so, when is that? Particularly on a Zoom call, right?